All right, welcome back to Breaking Ice. My name is Josh Ferguson, and today I'm sitting down with Bryson Rogers. Right?
Yeah.
All right, nice. And I've never met him before. I barely even heard of him, except for yesterday I was on Facebook and I noticed your post about the non-for-profit that you want to start. So I reached out right away and was like, hey, come on the show. Let's talk about it. And you answered like within 20 minutes. It's pretty cool to get you sitting here. How you doing?
I'm doing well today. I'm really excited about this new project that's going on.
Yeah, so give me the basic idea of what you're doing.
To start, there's been a lot of issues in the region, and I've heard of stories about people not being able to come home, stuff like that. So I wanted to try to provide a solve for that problem.
People not being able to come home, like from treatment?
From treatment, or mostly from treatment. Or people having to leave town to receive treatment or deal with trauma or any kind of healing that should be able to be handled here in the region.
Gotcha. And what? So your idea is to have some kind of a treatment center that helps people kind of bridge the gap from an addiction problem to kind of reintegrating?
Yeah, I'm wanting to cure a lot of problems, addiction including.
Okay.
I want to take the generational trauma in the area and kind of cut it off so the younger generations don't have to embrace it so much. Mm-hmm. And I want to give everybody in the region the opportunity to do that themselves. Mm. It's hard, I think, for people. They just need some support. And I want to know that I want people to know they have support. And I'm here to make sure they know that.
Okay, cool. And how long have you been kind of tumbling this idea around in your head?
My wife and I have been talking about solutions for a long time about this, and I've been talking for years about what the government or what somebody should do to fix this and like what to do, and I'm done talking about it. I'm ready to act on it. I am taking it day by day, but I'm very confident that this will work well. And I feel a lot of passion behind this. I really just want to help people and help people help themselves.
That's awesome. I really admire that sense of, well, there is that kind of feeling of like, I really want someone to do something about this. And so it's very few and far between that people actually jump to the, oh, like, if not me, then who? You know what I mean? So, kudos on that. That's awesome. What do you, where are you in the process? Like I saw your post and I have no idea how far along you are or, how early on in this process it is, but, kind of frame that out for me.
I'm very early, bare bones. I'm just developing a core group of the original builders to put together basically
like the board of directors and stuff.
Yeah, the core directors to put together the base of the image. But I've got an idea of what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
I'm just going through the GNWT paperwork, the legalities.
Totally. And
getting the people who have the most passion involved and kind of keeping them up to date with the whole process. I do have a lot of people who want to use their time and ability to help or volunteer or just teach what they've been through. There's a lot of people who have healed from their own issues that want to teach others how they've done it. Mm-hmm. And I kind of think I could give them that. Like, everybody wants to help. They just need the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to create.
Yeah, there needs to be like some kind of a structure and direction in that help. Yeah, it's obviously super important to kind of build out that like legal framework, that you're doing now with the paperwork and all that. If you imagine it in 5 years, like what does it look like to you?
It's beautiful in 5 years. I see a point right in the center of town with lots of people coming together. Just, if kids walking by, they can come in and have fun, do arts and crafts, dance, music, hand games, anything that people are interested in. Elders could tell stories. There could be really a lot of positivity right in the center of town. I want it to just kind of radiate out from there.
And do you imagine like having a facility?
I do.
Okay.
I do imagine having a facility. Like I said, it's bare bones, but what I envision is taking the old Mac House lot right by the school there.
Okay.
And I got to work it out with them, but I want to take out that building and basically build several facilities, including a large teepee-shaped building to kind of induce tourism as well and cultural awareness.
Revitalization,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah, that's cool. And you don't have to name names unless it makes sense, but like who is on board, who is helping you out? Do you have people on the board of directors that you're excited about?
I've just been putting together a core group today. So far, it's just me, my wife, and I got Mary Masazumi. She's very passionate about this as well. I got a couple of locals who really just, as soon as they seen this, they jumped right for it. They were like, yes, I want to help. I want to be a part of this. And this is what I'm talking about. Everybody wants to help, but they don't want to go to nursing school for 4 years, and they don't want to have to deal with getting, a government job to help. They just want to help people, and I'm ready to give people that opportunity. And I've had quite a few locals hop on it. Some people my age, some older, some younger.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, give me a sense of like who you are and like kind of how you got to this point. Like, tell me about, where you grew up and what that was like.
Well, I was born in Newfoundland, but I spent my whole life up here. So I lost the accent and I call myself a Northie.
Okay, a Northie. I like that.
Yeah. But I've been up here my whole life. I spend summers in Newfoundland, so I am familiar with what it's like over there. Mm-hmm. It's very beautiful, Tullingate was my other home, which might be considered a sister town to Norman Wills, at least in the 90s. Mm-hmm. But, I've spent most of my time here. Spent a lot of time out in the land. Spent a lot of time hiking, hunting, skidooing, quadding, all sorts of stuff like that. My mother is a pretty popular photographer. You might have heard of her, Nikki Richards.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, she's very skilled. She's been at that for years.
That's awesome. Very cool. So you had the like influence from out east and kind of spent time up there, but largely your experience was up north.
Yeah.
Were you educated up here as well?
Yeah, I went to school up here. It was great. I went to Mackenzie Mountain School,
yeah.
And I didn't really graduate on time, but I did eventually.
So after high school and what was your kind of path, and when did you start thinking about these issues and this project?
I've been kind of doing my own thing. I got a wicked girlfriend about 8 years ago, and ever since then I've been really improving my life. Mm-hmm. Since then we've been engaged and got married and have quit drinking almost 2 years ago.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a journey and a lot of healing. We have been through so much together. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without her. Mm. The quitting drinking thing really opened my eyes to the problems that alcohol can cause and just the way it affects people. Mm. And I don't want to call it evil. It's just
it's one of those things where like anything can be. It's like the two sides of a coin.
Yeah, yeah.
Like humans are capable of like some of the most incredibly good things on the planet, and some of the most evil things on the planet.
That's true.
And alcohol is the same way.
Yeah, I think it cuts off your healing ability in a way. You just
because it's like a Band-Aid almost, like it numbs you.
Yeah.
Is it like, especially with like a lot of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of you get drunk, you make a problem. Instead of facing that problem, you just drink again, and it comes like a loop. And once we got out of that loop, I noticed we kind of had to face these problems of our past more, and it brought more stuff up. And the more we faced our past and just became truthful with everything and honest and let out all of these regrets, the more we started to love ourselves as individuals. And that started to feel like the true healing process there. And I feel like this understanding, if I can share it with others, they could heal themselves as well. Mm. Not that they have to quit drinking or anything, just to work on yourself, just to...
Well, it's an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a necessity, but it can be a big step in that direction.
I think so, yeah.
What was there like an event, or was it kind of like a slow accumulation to the point where you realized that, maybe drinking isn't a good thing in my life and I should quit that?
There were several events, I would say. Mm-hmm. Each one kind of got ramped up a little bit. Eventually, I was put in a situation where I couldn't protect my wife, and that was my breaking straw. I needed to be there to protect her, and if I'm too drunk, I can't control myself or others. So it became a source of protection, but now it's more like a sanctuary thing. I feel stronger. I feel like I can control myself and do so much more, and I don't regret anything anymore like I used
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Oh, that's really cool. And have you felt like how was your experience? Well, first of all, was quitting drinking really difficult? Like, and how long until you felt like you were through that difficult part? The reason I'm asking these questions is like I feel like they might be helpful for someone out there, to be like, oh, like it's going to be 3 months that are hard. But yeah, what was your experience?
I completely understand the question. Honestly, it was long. It was like the first 3 months were kind of a him and haw. After that, it felt like a lot of anxiety. I realize now that was like kind of old, bad emotions leaving the body that build up after from all that years of drinking. But at the 6 month mark, my anxiety was through the roof. I was so tempted to drink just to get the anxiety. It was bad. But my wife and I just kind of kept each other on top of things. Like, you don't need a drink. Well, we were drinking kombucha and stuff.
Yeah, mow the lawn instead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so it's definitely helpful to have someone to go through it with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think doing it alone would have been possible, or do you feel like the support was like a very key element in succeeding?
For me personally, I wouldn't have been able to go through that alone. I needed the support, and I think, yeah, her support gives me a lot of my own strength as well. So quitting was after the 6 month mark, and we went through all the anxiety. It kind of got a lot easier after that, and since then, it hasn't been a problem. People ask me to drink, and I'm not. It's not like, those old timey alcoholics who can't have alcohol by or else they get the itch. It's not like that at all. I'm totally just. I know my life.
Like
is
you don't
better
have the
without it.
desire to at all.
Yeah, not at all.
That's cool. And has that like crystallized over time? Like the longer you spend not drinking, the easier it is to not drink.
It is, and we're at a point now where we can like dance and do stuff that you would normally need a drink to do, but we can just do it on our own, have
Nice.
fun. Don't need to loosen up.
And what were some of the things that you kind of replaced? Well, because drinking can take a lot of time. So what are some things that you found to fill that time, and maybe new hobbies that you've taken on?
That is true. It definitely was an adjustment for that. I've always been a gamer, so it's pretty easy to get caught up in that kind of
Oh yeah, okay.
and lose some time. My wife has been reading so many books. She's got like, I think, 40 books in at least last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of reading, and I think she really loves it.
So, and then when would you say was the like genesis of this idea to want to create a center like this and help support people?
This is kind of crazy. We have been talking. A month ago today, I wouldn't have been jumping on this. But the past month, I've just had a lot of revelations and a lot of understanding of what is going on around here. And that something, I went out to Jasper with her last week for a trip. We had a nice trip in the mountains. It was beautiful out there, even with all the scorched earth. It was very nice.
Well, that kind of thing can be beautiful as well,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. But while we were there, I just kind of had an epiphany. I'm like, I've been waiting around forever for something to change, and I'm just done waiting. And I didn't know how to how to be done waiting. Like, that was kind of hard. And then after just a few days of ruminating on it, I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm starting this company that we've been talking about. We've just been talking about it on and off for a couple months now. And I'm like, it's time. I'm done waiting. It's time to do something about it.
That's awesome. So, is the intention to, start with some seed funding and some grant funding to kind of get it off the ground?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at talking to different local bands, different local people, the government. There's already a lot of support that I've been receiving. Yeah, grants.
Yeah, fair. What do you view as the biggest challenges ahead?
Myself, I've been a bit of an obstacle.
Okay.
I mean, I put in my 2 weeks with the government yesterday. I was I had an amazing job, working at ECC. I was a finance corporate services manager, and it's pretty crazy. I feel like I'm taking a leap of faith here, but I know that everything's going to be fine. I know that this is required. I know that people need this, and because of that, it's all going to come together. And it's not just me. I'm just throwing the rock, making the ripple. It's going to be everybody in the region helping me out here.
Yeah. Cool. So was the intention behind giving you 2 weeks to like give yourself like the time to be able to put into this?
Yeah. I won't be able to do this in full capacity if I'm working at the government as well. And I think I would need like minister's approval to start a company or start a business.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Cool. So like a leap of faith. That's awesome.
Total leap of faith. Yeah.
Is there you can obviously you can use this platform to like connect with people, but like is there anyone that maybe would see this that you were hoping to reach specifically?
No one specifically. I got a lot of specific people in mind, but it's more like if we can get that person and like help them help themselves, they know so many people and they will just like spread it out.
Yeah.
And they will help others. So there's a couple people that I know that I could definitely get to.
And in the most, what are like, if you had to kind of frame out what are 5 problems or goals that you're trying to like conquer here? Like you were talking about addiction, but then there were some other ones. What are those?
Yeah, there's quite a few things we're dealing with here. We're dealing with addiction, trauma, generational or otherwise. We're dealing with people like in situations where they need to leave their house, but they have nowhere safe to go. I want to give them somewhere safe to go. Even if it's domestic issue or just drugs, you want to get away from it, anything like that. I also want to have a place for people to go and get clean if they want. If they need somewhere to stay and they're struggling with addiction, I'm not going to turn them away.
Yep.
Because they are stuck with their drugs. I will let them in every day. I will do what they can. I'm going to be as patient and supportive as I can. And I think that is kind of the key behind this. A few other things. Yeah, I want to bring my people home. I've heard stories of people that go down for rehab. They can't come back home. They can't be here because the people that they hang out with normally need also help. And it's kind of a...
Like if they came back, they would relapse kind of thing?
Yeah, precisely. So I want to give them a safe place to come home to where they don't have to be influenced by the other stuff around. And I think if I start... It's kind of like there's a fog over the whole town. And I think if I start this, it'll start to clear the fog a little bit. And that's all we need is just to get the fog started to clear and we could start to clean things up.
And it sounds to me like your experience of getting sober and deciding to kind of like heal is a huge influence in terms of what you want to do, but also the way that you did that. Kind of like a grassroots community way of healing as opposed to like a clinical way of healing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it is accurate. I've got family who also struggle with addiction. I've seen a lot of people go to rehab. I have friends who go to rehab and they're like, they got all the drugs at rehab you could get. Like, it doesn't seem like
is
it
it
helps.
like a safe supply thing?
Yeah, it's like
rehab?
They make connections with more people who have connections. It's not, I don't think it helps. What I would do if I had somebody who was struggling with addiction is give them a safe place, be there all the time, don't judge, and just support and show them the love that they're supposed to show themselves. Oh, that they will eventually see that and they will love themselves more. They just need somebody else, I think, to show them what they're capable of.
Are you worried that something like this has the possibility to like it to be taken advantage of instead of using for the intended purpose?
I'm not worried. It's kind of like you can come and take advantage of it as much as you want, but you'll eventually start to heal. Like if you want to live there and go out and do drugs every day and come back and live there, we'll accommodate you. You will eventually feel the support that we give you and want to support yourself, I think. You can only take advantage of something for so long before it really eats away at yourself.
Yeah. And so you view this being like centered in neural wells. Is the is the idea to like support the other communities as well in the Sahtú in Norman Wells?
Yeah, I do intend to empower the whole region with this. I am just starting off in Norman Wells. I think
Totally. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if other people in the other communities started their own kind of branches just to spread it out and have a permanent station in their communities.
Mm-hmm. So, what if you like, you know, over the next 6 months, do you have like have you kind of set out established goals in that sense? Like, you know, in 6 months we want to be here, in a year we want to be there. What does the next 6 months look like for you?
I do. I've established a full business plan, and of course, it's privy to change. This is still.
Oh yeah, I feel like business plans are like this kind of like evolving, growing document. Like no one makes a business plan and then just sticks to it firmly forever. That's not a thing.
No, yeah, it's a good vision I got so far, though. What was the original question?
I was curious, kind of like what over the next 6 months, what are your goals?
Oh yeah, well,
Because I feel like it's going to take some time to establish this before you can serve people. Like you're going to need to like build up your resources and you know get a facility. Or I'm not exactly sure what your vision is precisely because I'm just learning about it now. But what does the next 6 months entail?
okay, so I got kind of two things going on here.
Yeah.
One is getting the land, getting the people on board, getting the funding, and then trying to worry about construction. I'm not sure if I'm going to worry about getting the center of town yet.
Sure.
I might just try to find some empty houses
Yeah,
to work
yeah,
with. But until then, I'm going to be meeting with my core people and working with them to kind of heal themselves. I'm going to learn more myself by doing this, and basically I'm going to be doing kind of home visits. Not really. I just go see people, help them help themselves, and that'll help grow the idea.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give me a better understanding.
Are you hoping that this kind of is then integrated with you know the health system and the social services system, or do you view it as a completely independent?
I view it pretty independent.
Yeah.
I know that once you involve these systems, it's just a lot of
Regulation,
and I'm kind of trying to get away from that. I want it to be more. I want to use close to home methods. I want it to be more traditional, more land, more stuff like meditation on the land, trapping, traditional methods, which aren't in the medical system. They're not regulated properly, like in that way. So
Yeah. Well, they're not like clinical practices, right?
yeah, but they're totally. Have you ever used spruce juice? It's amazing. I can't.
I have
believe
not
it's
used spruce juice.
It's a miracle juice.
What does it help with?
Well, you got sore muscles. You could rub on your muscles like A535. Except for it works better. I'm sure. You got a sore stomach. You could drink it. There's all sorts of. It'll heal almost everything, any temporary ailment.
Nice. So using these traditional on the land methods and kind of bringing people out and I think there is a really big healing property to spending time on the land and then well obviously with people and in community and then kind of practicing those traditions, and I think that can do a whole lot. I find the difficulty is often with the execution or with money, frankly, to do those kinds of things, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. Right, you just kind of need the will and the drive to kind of make it so.
That's funny because one of my cheapest hobbies is going out in the land.
Well, individually, I find it's very obviously affordable.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
But like
doing excursions.
Yeah, if you're like we're gonna take 20 people out, it's like okay, well we need food and we need transportation and we need all this equipment and things like that can get really expensive. Doesn't mean that it's not possible. And then there's also like ways to engage with that's just like not as remote. Like you don't need to fly out into the Mackenzie Mountains to do that kind of stuff. You can just do it locally in the backyard,
Yeah.
behind the airport.
No doubt.
That's cool. Okay. What are you most optimistic about?
I definitely see this helping a lot of people. I'm very sure about this whole move. I'm not sure what makes me so confident, but I could see a region full of culture and love and laughter in the future. And one of the things that I kind of forgot to mention is, there's been a dwindle in culture the past few years. I've noticed it. I've been working at ECC. There's nobody trapping anymore, nothing like that. And I mean, there's lots of different types of culture, but I want this to really bring back the ability to embrace all of that. I mean, Toledo and stuff, they still do hand games. I'd like to have a place here to also do stuff like that more often.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think is driving that kind of dwindle in culture?
Oh, definitely drugs, party mentality. People are too busy getting fucked up to go enjoy the land. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, the drug issue is such a complex problem, and it's so complex that it's really hard to like find good solutions to it.
It is, and that's actually kind of where all this started. Is you're thinking of those solutions, like should we start vigilante justice? Should we start chasing people around town, trying to send them out of town? I just thought that the best way to really nip this in the bud was to just give a place, yeah, exactly what I'm doing, a place where people can help themselves get over these issues, where they don't have to leave and go somewhere uncomfortable. Who wants to leave their comfortable home to go through treatment, right? You need family, you need friends.
But do you think that it's possible that, kind of being who wants to leave their comfortable home to go seek treatment? It's possible that the like comfort of your home enables you to stay in that toxic cycle, as opposed because like I find I spent years as a canoe guide, taking kids out on the land, and it wasn't youth with addictions or whatnot. It was just regular kids, and taking them out of their like regular space and putting them in a new space that was challenging had such healing properties, and not necessarily like healing properties, and I think that's true, but more it had like revelatory properties because you get to see things from a different perspective. So I think it's possible there is value in kind of leaving what your comfort zone to seek treatment, but I understand not going like so far away to like a different city or something like that, because you're not necessarily like, it's different to travel to the land versus to travel to the city, because in the city that's where these things happen, and when you're out remote, those kinds of things, it's not really an option. If you're like hiking somewhere, there's not drugs available.
Yeah, no, it's I had something to say, but I'm blanking out here now.
That's okay. We were talking about the difference between kind of healing at home versus like healing elsewhere, and maybe some benefits or drawbacks of doing that.
Yeah, well, I got an email yesterday from a lady in Fort Good Hope who said she'd been trying to go to a treatment center, and the closest one is in like BC. And
yeah, that just seems crazy.
That's unfortunate. And I'm like, I'm happy to hear that, because I want to give her a place here that she can go if she needs to.
She's struggling trying to break her habits and
her generational trauma, I believe, and there's no treatments around. There's not very many treatments that cover those specifics, I think, and that is something I would like to cover.
Is your role in this organization something that you see as like, do you want to be like involved, like as a facilitator, as like an instructor, or because like often when you're starting an organization like this, at least in my experience, you can get so like bogged down in like paperwork and like kind of running the thing that you don't really have time to do that. And how do you see kind of balancing that, like that pull?
I definitely see a hierarchy here where I help a core group of people who then deal with the general public.
The day-to-day.
Yeah. But I already got a few people who are really passionate about this and excited, and I know I can trust for this. So I think it'll be fine. I know that it's going to be a lot for me at the start, but the support has so far already been overwhelming, and
that's cool.
I think it'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see you succeed, obviously. Like, that sounds like it would be such a fantastic thing for the region, and obviously something that's needed. I'd like to offer this platform as like a check-in thing. Like, you can come on every 6 months, a year, whenever you want, and kind of give us an update and use it as a means to spread information.
That'd be great.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's exciting, man. Well, it's one of those things where it's like when the future is like unknown, it can be like really scary and daunting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been I've been shaking my head a little bit the past day, just like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is crazy. But then I just got to stop and breathe, and I know this is going to work out.
Yeah.
I know the people need this, and I'm here to make sure it happens.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you really do need to like lay out small goals because big things are built with small steps,
Yeah.
you know?
Every step I take now is going to be small and intentional. I'm not rushing. I'm not leaping. I'm making this work.
What kinds of inspirations have you been listening to? Any kind of media around healing and addiction and whatnot? What are some of your inspirations in terms of that sense?
I've recently fallen into, I listen to different healers, kind of a spiritual outlook on healing, where, well, actually, I recently went through something kind of crazy myself. I had
Tell us
nausea
the
problem
story.
for
Yeah.
like 8 years. I could not I didn't know what the heck was wrong with my stomach. I thought I was allergic to peanuts, strawberries, broccoli. I went and I did an allergy test last week. I have zero allergies.
So what would
Turned
tell us
out
more?
my self-worth was very low. I was keeping,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I had really low self-worth, and I did not love myself, and it was literally sick to my stomach with myself for the past 8 years until I discovered why, and I brought that out, and I kind of healed from that, and I haven't been nauseous since. So that was a big eye-opener for me, because I'm after getting scopes and doing all these tests and trying to figure out what the heck's wrong with my stomach, and it was an emotional problem this whole time.
Yeah, I think that's that can be really common in our culture because we always want to like have like clinical solution to like some kind of a problem, and so much of it might have to do with the way that we're thinking about ourselves or how we're relating in terms of our community.
Yeah, so I've been doing teachings regarding that kind of stuff lately. I've been looking into it, and it all really falls into place for me. It makes a lot of sense.
Cool. And you were talking about kind of healing through a spiritual background. Do you are you religious? Do you have faith in your life, and how do you see that fitting into this center?
I Before I would consider myself maybe quasi-Buddhist. Like I believe in reincarnation and energies, but I wasn't so focused on it. I just kind of, and karma. I definitely believe in karma in the way that people remember. If you hurt somebody, they're going to remember, and they're not going to do you any favors in the future. Of course, that's how it exists, but now I kind of understand it in a deeper method. I have not I never was raised in a spiritual way. I went to Sunday school, but I never really believed. I kind of went there by choice to see a girl when I was really young. But no, I've always had this keen sense that something's going on, but I don't think that the religious industries got it right. And now I kind of just I believe in myself more than anything.
But well, at least in my experience, like faith can be really powerful up here, and in either kind of like a traditional faith or even in like a Catholic faith or Christian faith. Do you see that fitting into the organization in some way in terms of healing?
I do. I have discovered, or I've seen a duality between love and fear, and there's a lot of times where people feel afraid and they will go with that instinct. They will choose fear because it seems like the safer route. But if you choose love, it takes faith, it takes courage, and it takes love to choose love over fear, and it's a bravery thing. But that is the point of healing right there, where you can recognize that and choose love over fear, and that involves faith.
Would you consider that your definition of faith, or can you define faith for me from your perspective?
Faith, yeah, I guess. I mean, what I mean by faith is like belief in yourself.
Okay.
Belief in the fact that everything's going to be all right and you will always be able to handle anything that's thrown at you. Belief, just we all do it. We all know that if something happens, we're going to be able to handle it, but we stress out about it and we get scared and we predetermine things. Just trust that no matter what happens, you will be able to take care of that situation. That is what faith is to me.
I think it's important also to recognize that if you trust that you'll be able to take care of the situation, that doesn't mean that you won't fail, but it's what you choose to do with that failure which will define you.
Yeah,
You know what I
no.
mean?
Failure is everywhere, and that's great to learn. That's one thing I've always uh, tried to make a point of. I screwed up a lot growing up. Who doesn't make mistakes all the time? But every time I did something stupid that I regretted, I would definitely find something I learned to learn from it. Something mistake, something I wouldn't do it again, right? Well, actually, I would make the same mistakes again, but
Well, but
you
even
know,
if that happens, there's something to learn there as well.
yeah. As long as there's something to learn, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes, and there's no such thing as bad people. People make bad decisions, but they could learn from them, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. What do you view as do you think that there's going to be like roadblocks that are more structural than like do you think like how do I put this? I think it's possible that like maybe government might I don't know, not like what you're doing for some reason. I don't want to be conspiratorial here, but often these like really good intentioned programs kind of like don't get off the ground because there's not like supported belief that they're going to work. And obviously they need funding. How do you, this is kind of like a huge question, but how do you plan to overcome that?
With faith.
Yeah, fair.
I know that there's going to be challenges. I'm fully aware that I'm going to feel dazed, that I'm going to feel overwhelmed. But I am developing a group of people who will support me, and I also know that I'll be able to figure it out when the time comes. I know that funding is going to be the hardest part of this,
Yeah.
but I'll make it work.
I think partnering with the like land corps and the self government organizations, I think would be a huge. Well, obviously, it seems like they would be interested in supporting a program like this, but it seems to me like that would also be a good way to acquire funding and get support from those organizations because I can't imagine that they wouldn't be interested in helping people heal locally, you know?
I agree. I'm going to try to discuss with them first and foremost. I want the bands and the people to tell me what they want. I know the government is going to be like, we want this and that. And that's okay. I'll give them the paperwork that they want, the legalities, but I'm here for the people.
Yeah.
I'm not here for the government. So yeah, I'm going to work with the bands first, I think. I think they will help me in a better direction too.
Well, I think they have an incentive to help you. I think that they have way more interest. The government's so abstracted and so like far away that
they got so much going on.
well, yeah, that too. Cool. Yeah. Well, what else? What else? You know, what are you excited about? What else what do you have going on right now? What are some of the things in your life that have influenced you to, aim in this direction?
I don't know. I spent the last 2 years isolating myself out at DOT, kind of hiding away from everybody, and I got really comfortable hiding away. But
Yeah, this is a huge shift from hiding.
It is really. I'm not sure exactly how that all happened. I really do like the peace and quiet, but I feel like I can't sit back and watch anymore. It's just kind of, I have an idea, I'm going to use it. I thought other people might have the same idea, and they do, but that's where I'm here to.
Yeah, like you were talking about in Banff when you were like, I'm just tired of sitting around, like someone needs to do something about this. People might have the same idea, but it's like they need someone to follow. Like that's what leadership is about.
Yeah.
Do you have are there courses that you are interested in taking or kind of skills that you want to pursue that will help you succeed?
I've always kind of had a basic interest in the human psyche. I wouldn't mind doing some guidance courses or something. Obviously, just to help people throughout this process.
Well, and there's such a means to like self-educating now with the kind of access to information that we have. But yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the learning I do in experience, going to school and learning from a book has never been a thing for me. I have done it, but it's just, I work so much better in the moment.
Mm.
I think
that's something a lot of people can relate to. Like, obviously there's like type A people and like, as a type B, but people who are like very like organized or like, who fit into like our education system very well, and then there's a whole swath of people who that doesn't quite work for, and that kind of like experiential education is so much more powerful for.
Yeah, I feel like the more I work with people, the more I'll be able to understand, and that wouldn't, of course, wouldn't help that.
So you're on a growing journey yourself, the way you kind of envision it.
I am like this. This isn't a completely selfless move. I'm doing this for my own growth as well. I really, really just want to help other people, and it's a pretty deep down thing. So it's personal. I'm here to help others and show them a better way of life. Really.
That's very cool. What are some of your own kind of character attributes that you think are going to be like your biggest assets? Like things about your personality.
I can be very understanding, and I'm a good communicator. I find I can help people reflect and understand different things. I need to focus on my listening because I like to talk a lot. So I can be very preachy, I guess. Like,
Sure.
if people want somebody to listen to, I can talk for hours.
Well, it's one of those things where like, I think it's like learning how to listen is really helpful, but if you're not able to communicate or feel comfortable talking in public, that can be such a barrier as well too.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah, especially leading. But it definitely requires a understanding of how to listen. That I worked with youth and then I worked with the staff who worked with the youth, and that was like a interesting extrapolation of those skills. Like first I was just teaching kids and helping kids learn things on the land, but then I was teaching people how to teach kids. And that was like really challenging when I first started doing it, and you know, as you do it you get more comfortable, but I would expect a lot of challenges. Well, there's going to be things that you encounter that are complete surprises.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I am in anticipation of this stuff somewhat, but I felt quite a bit of anticipation about all this yesterday when I started this. And I've been thinking about it. I'll cross that bridge when I get there, and I'm not too worried about it. If I anticipate on it too much now, it kind of might mess up the whole process.
Yeah, fair. Well, one step at a time, right?
That's exactly it. I'm taking it day by day, and I am taking my time and being very intentional about everything.
Very cool. That's awesome. And is your family supportive of the idea and excited about it?
Absolutely. I'm not sure what they think about me putting in my 2 weeks, but I'm confident. My mother's always been very supportive over anything like this. She's going to be on the board and helping out.
Oh, that's excellent.
And my sister loves to take care of youth, so I'm sure like we could probably take care of a whole bunch of different problems with this if we get it once we get it started.
Yeah. And obviously your wife is supportive of the whole endeavor.
Yeah, she was talking today about starting volunteer programs.
Okay.
And she wants to volunteer and just use her time to help. I was like, if you want to volunteer with this whole thing we're starting, I could just get you in charge of volunteer programs, and you could help other people as well volunteer. We're going to start kind of in that direction because, well, that's free. We could take our time. We could do that and get results. So volunteering is going to be one of our first steps.
Okay. And volunteering in what capacity?
I'm not really sure. Just
You mean like spending more time, like kind of dedicating your time to programs that already exist, or?
Well, that's where I was talking to her about this morning. We could create some programs.
Okay.
We can find some ways to volunteer.
Nice. Sweet. That's cool. It's exciting to see people. Well, I had a podcast yesterday with the Liberal candidate for MP, a couple of days ago, and we were talking about there not being enough people who are stepping up to kind of fill the things that need to be done, and how I don't really believe personally that the government is capable of filling all those roles, even though they have, you know, quote unquote, an endless supply of money, which isn't true. But when those things, when the government tries to kind of solve all the problems, the solutions aren't as well full as they could be. They kind of often end up feeling hollow and corporate and like you know like sanitized because they can't risk anything. Whereas when you have these independent projects, they can be so much more fruitful and like beautiful because the people running them are so invested as opposed to there just being a concept. You know what I mean?
I completely know what you mean, and I really feel the investment of the people reaching out already. I just put out this post yesterday, and I could feel how invested people are in this.
Do you view social media as being having a big role in this, or not really?
I haven't been using social media for the past couple of years, but I am aware that I will have to start using it for this.
Well, it's especially in the north, it's such like a useful way of communicating. Just like Facebook, Facebook as like a whole thing, I think is like I don't really like it that much, but the way that it's used for people to communicate in a small community is excellent.
It is. We need some sort of message board or somewhere where we can all connect online.
Yeah, even just like Tim Melnick posting what he's gonna feed everyone at the Legion, like that kind of stuff is great and provides a platform for a community to communicate with each other.
Yeah, you can tell he likes making those posts.
They're so artistic.
Yeah.
Tell me about kind of how you see the evolution of the community of Norman Wells over time and where you hope it goes.
Once upon a time, they were saying, "Oh, this is going to be a big money maker. Next Yellowknife is going to appear across the river." All sorts of stuff like that.
How long ago was that? That's definitely not in my time.
I think 10 years ago they were saying that. I don't see Norman Wells really changing a lot. I think I want to see it more of a, it's kind of like a snow globe. It's like a little cabin town, I want it to be more, embrace that more. I mean, we have the isolation, we have the nature, we have the mountains and the trees and the swamp everywhere. It's not going to turn into a big city or anything, but it's very charming the way it is. And I think a lot of people recognize that. And I want that charm to kind of shine.
Are you optimistic that we'll overcome some of the big challenges, in terms of like supply chain and things like that?
Yeah, somewhat. I feel like the weather is kind of bouncing back. Hopefully we'll be able to get some barges up here soon.
That'd be nice.
There's a lot more snow this winter than there was last. That is definitely kind of a stressful part for the whole community.
Yeah, certainly. Well, and it's one of those things where like that can impact the mental health, and that would then devolves and then would create a bigger need for what you're proposing.
Yeah, for some people the isolation is really hard to live with.
Yeah.
For me it's a dream come true.
Are you naturally an introverted person?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I can definitely switch between both.
Yeah.
But since I quit drinking, I've been a lot more introverted.
Do you think that is just a product of like your healing process as opposed to necessarily your characteristics as a person?
I think the last 2 years have been a lot of that. A lot of me hiding away to work on myself, to figure things out. And now that I'm at a place that I'm feeling better than I ever have in my life, I'm ready to show others kind of what I went through. And I'm not saying you got to isolate yourself for 2 years, but...
Well, no, everyone has their own means of healing, but I think it's of huge benefit that you have had that experience yourself.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of paving a way here for others to follow.
Well, and if someone... Well, this might even be the case with why a government program wouldn't succeed as well as something like this could, where if the people implementing it haven't had that experience themselves, they're not relatable. And if someone's not relatable, it's like, well, why should I trust you with what I'm going through?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's one of the people I was talking to, somebody who's really passionate about that, was bringing that exact thing up last night. She was saying that, we're the perfect people to be doing this. We're from here. We spent our whole lives here. We understand the people, the region, and the struggles that we've been through ourselves. Mm-hmm. She is so excited to take the pain that she has retained and turn it into a teaching lesson and heal from it herself by doing so. It's awesome to see people really excited about those kind of things.
That's really cool. This is kind of a strange question. Are you hoping that the people who get involved are people who have overcome these kinds of issues themselves?
Not exactly. I know that some of the people involved have healing to do, and I plan, or not exactly plan, I know that they are on the right track to getting to a better place. And once they're there, they will be able to help others. I'm not just going to take somebody and be like, "Hey, you go help other people, figure it out." We're going to go through the whole process with all of our leaders and core members and really open their hearts to a better life, I think.
What were some of the other side effects that you saw from your own healing process?
A lot there's a lot of anxiety and stuff, like a lot of pain that leaves your body that isn't caused by an actual physical like trauma. It's just you hold on to pain when with mental anguish. It causes pain in your body, and when you start to heal it, it all comes out, and it kind of scares you. It kind of feels like you're doing something wrong, or like I don't want to feel this pain. Why the hell is this happening? Kind of thing. But that's yeah.
Have you noticed physiological changes from when you stopped drinking?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just last week I dealt with something, and I had a band of pressure coming out of my general like torso core area for about an hour of just pain. I was like having trouble breathing, and it went away. I knew what it was, but it's kind of weird feeling that come up.
That's very cool. Well, I'm very optimistic that hopefully this turns into something amazing. You know, people need help, and I think it being provided locally is such a necessary thing. And I guess my advice is like, there's going to be days when you're like, this is impossible, but that will only be true if you quit. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where faith comes in. That's how I believe in faith. I know I'll have those days, and I've had those days for other jobs too. It's just everybody has those days. You know, you can't win them all.
Yeah. We're just wrapping up our hour here, but I wanted to give you do you want to kind of give your pitch quick and in terms of people getting involved or and where people can find you and if they want to follow you?
Sure, yeah. You probably all know me. If you don't, my name's Bryson. I've been here a long time. Don't be afraid to reach out. It's not weird that you know me. I'm here to help anybody who needs it. If you want to talk, just give me a text or Facebook chat or call. If you want to be a part of this project, you're more than welcome. It's a community-based thing. I'm taking all the support I can get, and I'm thankful for it.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming on. I know it can be a vulnerable thing to come and kind of speak your mind, especially if you've been hiding away for 2 years. But I think you did it beautifully. And yeah, I'm excited to follow this project. You're welcome on anytime you want, and just give me a ring and we can do another episode and, you know, catch up and see where it's going. And yeah, if anyone's watching this who has skills or resources that they can provide for this project, yeah. Well, if you can't don't know how to reach out to Bryson, we'll put it here on the podcast, but you can reach out to me and I'll link you with him. So thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be back on.